Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Wednesday's Talking Town. It is, of course, 8. No, it's not 8 p.m. It's 7 p.m. We're early this week because Matt's got his 8th favourite team in the world, or whatever number it is. You know what he's like with the Champions League. We're starting early, so whether you're watching on live or catch up, please do get active and join us. If you're live, leave your comments, as many of you are already doing so. If you're watching on catch up because you thought Talking Town's always 8 p.m., apologies, blame Matt. Yes, I am throwing him under the bus here. And FTA, comment for that algorithm. I'll try and get to as many comments as I possibly can this evening. But before we start, this eye here, it's just suddenly started to play up. So I could see through it, but it's a bit watery, shall we say. So I'll try my best to read them, but make them nice and clear for me. And don't forget, we are partnered with the East Anglian Air Ambulance. If you want to help save lives and have the chance to win £1,000 every week, play the East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery. By playing just £1 each week, you're helping to keep their yellow helicopters flying. The East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery creates 18 winners every week with prizes ranging from £50 to £1,000. Over 18s only. T's and C's apply. Links in our description. And as always, please gamble responsibly. Mike Baker says, evening to win a game of football, we need to convert more. When we're going to keep a clean sheet, goals win games. Colin says, Colin refuses to give up mathematics until it's a match. I'll start that again. Blame the eye. Colin's plum. I refuse to give up until mathematically impossible. I support my club, up or down. We are Town. Colin, I support our football club, but I'm not quite sure I agree with you. Anyway, bring it in. My contributor, my co-host, my friend, Matthew Phillips. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. What's wrong with your eye? You got a watery eye?
It's just about 5 minutes before I sat down at this chair, it started to just water, and I want to sort of scratch the living daylights out of it, you know? And,
a little bit tearful. You've been looking at the league table again, haven't you?
I have been looking. Yes, I have. I've been swimming underwater of tears of sorrow.
Did you watch Anglia News tonight? ITV Anglia.
I never watch ITV.
Well, you should have done. There was a bloke on there. He could eat 8 pie and mash and liquors in 8 minutes. He broke the world record or something. How you discover you've got this skill, I've got no idea. But
he ate 8
pie mashes and the liquor, which I discovered is a parsley sauce.
Yeah.
And the stock of an eel.
Lovely. Sounds good.
Revolting.
Sounds really nice, actually.
Well, I can't say I've ever had it.
Do you like jelly deals?
Yeah. We used to get, with all my relatives coming from the East End of London, we used to get that kind of stuff.
Love as well. Love jelly deals.
They actually started discussing about it on the news. But it was 5 kilograms of food he consumed in 8 minutes. I don't think I eat that in a week, Martin, as you know.
I think I could probably do that in one sitting. Not pie and mash, because I don't like pie, but 8 kilograms of food. If you catch me at an all-you-can-eat restaurant, us Lamberts are famous for smashing about 15 plates without even thinking. That's the start.
The reason I tuned into ITV Anglia, of course, that was a pleasant surprise, was to watch Norwich Sheffield Wednesday highlights, which
good as
fantastic.
They were.
And as we know, Martin, when you get a little tearful looking at the league table, as I always say to you, there's always someone worse off than yourself. And in this case, it's Norwich City. 2 up last night, lose 3-2 to Sheffield Wednesday. I've had a good laugh today going on the Pinken, a website I rarely visit. What made me chuckle? Well, yes, of course we can. What made me chuckle was Kenny McLean, their captain, said, this is actually a shambles. Shambles wouldn't just do. It actually had to be an actual shambles. That's a whole level of shambolic above the usual. So
we're finding new ways of using shambles.
Me and Colin were chatting about this. He reckons this is the worst Norwich team he's seen for decades. Unfortunately, we probably might have to play them next season.
This is it, isn't it? This is why. They're not great, but I think they'll tell you they're in a transition year. They've gone younger with their squad. All of this.
No parachute payments.
No parachute payments. No new ownership. Obviously, new sporting director.
Milwaukee Brewers.
And in truth, I'm not even bothered what they do. They could lose every week, win every week. I'm worried about what we're doing.
I'm worried about the Premier League, aren't you? Yeah, exactly.
I'm worried about what we're doing and how we're not doing it, or what we're not doing well. How many players are playing for injury FC?
You can just peer up over the neighbourhood fence, can't you? Have a good chuckle and then.
If it makes you feel better, but don't forget,
it does.
2-0 is the most deadliest scoreline in football.
Why is that? Do you think? Why is that? Just go into a comfort zone, do you? Just take your foot off the gas.
Take your foot off the gas. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you don't apply the throttle. You apply the brake, and then they get a goal. Maybe momentum swings in their favour. I don't know, but it is delightful to see Norwich City lose every week. Yeah, every game. I mean, that is a wish of mine. If I could have a footballing wish. Yeah.
Also, this comment has come up here would be one of your wishes. Gov could break the world record for eating bargain buckets. You know the Gov too well, Mike Baker.
I love a bargain bucket. It's a nice meal for one. That a bargain bucket.
Yeah.
Nice way of starting your evening off.
It's a starter for you, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, you got some of the fried chicken for dinner. Actually, I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous.
Yeah.
All right,
not the Kentucky Fried variety, unfortunately.
No, you've gone for the more economical range.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Think with your wallet, not with your stomach. Always been my issue. That's why I'm dirt poor. Because if I've got 20 quid, I'll spend it on food. Right, moving it on to international call-ups.
Yes.
What are we saying in terms of who's being called up, Mr. Phillips?
Well, let's break down your theory as to suddenly how George Hurst has become Scottish. You think he's because he's bought some Tunnock tea cakes. Also, I've purchased from Aldi's this week as well.
Excellent. Well, no, he is now eligible or will be eligible very shortly to play for Scotland. Went to, that's great. Him and Kieran Slicker both being called. Well, Hurst hasn't yet because he can't be, but when he says he's, once he's able, I think Steve Clark still the manager of Scotland? Yeah,
he was at the FA Cup game watching him, wasn't he, against Forest the other week? Last week. Was that last week?
Yeah,
last week.
Yes, I think it was. But yeah, so Kieran Slicker and George Hurst both called up to Scotland, albeit one definitely, one waiting in the wings. What are your thoughts on that? I mean,
I like it because if you look back through Ipswich history, we've got a great affinity with Scotland, haven't we? Alan Brazil, George Burley, Johnny Walk. Tremendous. It would be great if we could start getting that going again. But it is a bit, it's sort of something you see in the modern era, isn't it? I wonder if he spent most of his life supporting England, cheering England on, and now he becomes a professional footballer, the chance to represent Scotland, and now suddenly you've changed allegiance. But a good career move. Who knows? I mean, look, they're expanding the World Cup to something stupid. Was it 48 teams, maybe going to 65 in a few years? So he could end up playing at a tournament. I mean, you remember like George Best, for example, one of the world's greatest ever players, Northern Ireland, never ever played at a tournament. European tournament, World Cup, nothing. So if you get the opportunity to do so, then good luck to him. And it's good to see Ipswich Town players getting international call-ups. Keeps that running, doesn't it?
And every time they score a national goal, it's more money,
Yeah, exactly.
Keep applying the cash.
I mean, I remember thinking, I think I said it on the show at the start of the season, why when England played Republic of Ireland, knowing that Liam Delap could represent Ireland, why he didn't take that chance. And you were like, well, why would he? He could end up playing for England. And I was still
Which he will do. Which he will.
Really?
He will do.
Oh yeah, look at us now, months later. Yeah, exactly.
With I'm not with Delap, it does genuinely feel the moment he signs for a bigger club, he'll be instantly called up. It does feel like, because he is arguably. I mean, then again, in terms of 2025, Matt, we were talking the other day, weren't we? In open play, is it 2 goals he's got in 2025 so far? Yeah,
it was the goal against Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then a penalty against Fulham.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Which isn't open play, but we'll count it.
What's the other goal? Was there another goal in open play? He's only got 2 in 2025, I think.
2 in 2025. So he's called a little bit. Although the whole team has.
Yeah, but I think that was to be expected given his age. 21 turned
21.
22. And he started like about hell, didn't he? It was just phenomenal how he kind of started. I noticed there was a couple of links today. That team talk got mentioned on the BBC football gossip thing. I don't know how legit team talk is. Not one I would ever go and visit. But Newcastle looking at him because of Isaac probably moved on to Champions League side. And Chelsea desperate for a number 9. So that was good because you start getting a bidding war going here. This is taken out of the matching clause that we think Manchester City have got.
Well, they've got, at which they could get involved as well. So it is a 3. It could be a 3-way bidding war.
If not relegated.
Well, you can cling on to that when you like. Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, but there could be. You're quite right. There could be a bit of a bidding war, which is fantastic because this is top up money that we'll get on top of the parachute payments. Should we get relegated back to the football.
Which in
league.
turn allows you to play a bit more hardball with other bids that you may receive for players, because you've got that big money coming in. You've got that parachute money. You don't have to take the first offer. You don't have to even take the second or third offer. It gives you a little bit more flexibility if you do move him on. And I think we will. I think regardless of what division we're in, I think we will. He's 21.
Well,
he's got all the attributes in the world. He's performed at this level, you know, and as the team's called, obviously, I say called being polite, but as the team has called, he's obviously had limited chances in 2025, which maybe is why he won't get the England call up this time. You know,
you are right in what you say, though. I think Solanke never got a call up for England when he was at Bournemouth. It was Liverpool, went fallow at Bournemouth, goes to Tottenham, suddenly starts getting call up. So it's weird how that turns out. I mean, you remember when you wouldn't remember this, Martin, you're too young, but when Bobby Robson was England manager, he called up Steve Bull, who was scoring goals in what was then a Wolves side in the Championship. I mean, but obviously Bobby's different gravy, isn't he? It didn't matter what division he was playing in. If he thought he was good, he was getting a call up, and so it proved for Steve Bull back in the day. But yeah, it'd be lovely to see Delap getting England call up while he's wearing an Ipswich shirt. But yeah, it's inevitable he's going to move on, isn't it? And we've all thought that, haven't we? As soon as he started scoring goals, and we started seeing ourselves cemented in the bottom three, which we have been since November, kind of the writings on the wall. But you know, we can be thankful we've had him for a season, and as we said earlier, it's going to be a huge top-up amount of money on top of what we'll get for going down. And yeah, that could enable us to keep, you know, taking their personal ambitions out of the equation for a minute, to keep an Amari, Alif Davis, whoever else might be in there.
You know, so that's the argument for obviously why Delap is perhaps holding out for the England call up. Didn't, as you said, sort of go down the Republic of Ireland route. George Hurst, on the other hand, obviously, while we love George Hurst, he's not quite a Delap, so he's still a lot way off the England setup. This seems like a really good move for him and his international ambitions. As you say, with the expanded formats that expand every 5 minutes, it seems, blinking, you miss another 12 teams being added to a tournament. This is a chance to play at a top, play international football, but also go and play at a major tournament, go and play on the big stage, on the grand stage, the European Championships, the World Cups, should Scotland, of course, qualify for those. On the other, in very similar fashion, obviously, Broadhead got called up. You told me this morning in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, for Wales.
It's to be expected because he is one of Wales's, I would say, top players. He hasn't played much, obviously, starting time for us, for Town, but it was always going to be a call-up for Nathan Broadhead at Wales. I mean,
Yeah, since he came to Town, it seems to have been like, well, he's been fit enough to join up with them. It seems to be he's always been picked, hasn't he? And of course, we had that little trinity for a while, didn't we? Kiefer Moore, Wes, and Broadhead as the three. So good luck to him, But yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, hopefully that could spur Broadhead on a little bit. I mean, you called him the needle mover when he arrived. Everyone will remember when he arrived from Everton.
Was back in League One.
Those days, yeah. It would be lovely to see him finish the season. I don't know, just getting somewhere close to the form that we know he can get. But of course,
you see, I don't think.
Different level.
Yeah, and I don't think he moves the needle in that way anymore. At this level,
he was good against Fulham. Do you remember at Craven Cottage? We were mentioned earlier the 2-2 there. I thought he played very well in that game, but yeah, his chances being he started the season off injured. I mean,
my issue with Nathan is but my main concern with Broad is, as much as I love him, and God knows I love him, and he's got a great song that we sing as well from the Terrace, which always helps.
Yeah, it does.
When he's had the chances, I think every time he's played, he's had a number of chances to score, and he hasn't taken them, which is a symptom of our football club this season, granted. But he when you get those limited chances, you need to grab it, you need to convert it. He's had a fairly decent amount of chances and just hasn't found the back of the net. The one that screams to my mind is I want to say Chelsea at home, where he's put through. It might be a different team, but he's put through and he doesn't score.
Southampton was one. Southampton.
Yeah,
was one. He was 3-1-1, wasn't he? I think.
That's my main area of how he's not moving the needle in the same way.
He's always done that a little. He's always done that a little bit, I think. I mean, to take your mind back to the East Anglian derby at Pullman Road last season when he was free, I think, wasn't he? 1-on-1 and missed a really golden opportunity in that game. So we end up drawing that match. It's just kind of fine lines. That makes me think back to that little stat I sent you the other night. after the West Ham Newcastle game, they put, if no one's seen this watching the show, they put a stat on there about teams, the shots on target that teams have had in the Premier League since Graham Potter took over. I think Graham Potter's West Ham have had 10 points in about as many games. Yet they've had 2 shots. They average 2 shots per game on target, which shows you how clinical they've been, because they've got double our amount of points, right? In the league.
It depressed me so much it forced me into a 24-hour silence.
Yeah, Martin went quiet. Everybody, I wondered if he was ill again, but no, he was just in a depression.
I couldn't eat. I couldn't
Yeah.
sleep. Honestly, what a stat!
I think Ipswich are averaging 9 shots per game, which I think was more than I thought, and 4.4 on target. And interestingly, Arsenal were 4.3, so actually 0.1 of a shot better than what Arsenal have. Actually, just goes back to what we were saying right at the top of the season, was that we were looking a little bit toothless. So, I mean, we've been creating the opportunities. We just don't seem to have the, I don't know, it's just the whole impact of our play. Yeah, so we've not been good in front of goal, conversion, be it inside, outside the box, I don't know, from set pieces, all these opportunities. We've just not been able to steer the bloody thing in the net, which is why we find ourselves in third from bottom.
I wonder what Terry Connor's doing, because obviously the Friday afternoons under Mick were a huge thing. Do you remember in our purple patch?
TC.
You know, they work hard on a Friday afternoon with TC finishing. I wonder if,
get in.
Just a cheeky Friday, TC. Come and share us out to finish again. Talking of rolling back the years, obviously it's 10 years very close to the day where our visitors for this weekend were also an opponent, and the scoreline
20 years, Martin.
20 years. I am that old. You're right. But it's not. Tell the people at home what the score was, because I don't think it'll be the score this time.
Yeah, Ipswich Town v Nottingham Forest, 12th of March 2005, Joe Royal era, the era of goals. Everybody,
roll back the years.
Yeah, I remember this game very well. 6-0. Ipswich 6, Nottingham Forest 0. I'll read you out the side here. Kelvin Davis in the sticks. Would he get into our team now? Is he better than Alex Palmer?
Oh, it's a great question. Had you asked, I think, me and most of the chat about 3 months ago, I think he would have walked into the team.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll still go Kelvin. Over Alex. But Alex is pushing it. But he's early. So that's more recent. That's probably a bit of recent bias in the sense, I've seen him perform more recently than
it's good Kelvin, wasn't it?
I'll go Kelvin,
good.
Yeah.
Had a good career after us as well, didn't he, with Southampton and people like that?
Yeah, he did, you're right.
I think this would have been a left back. David Unsworth, very good at penalties.
David Unsworth! I still remember him. Was it away at Preston where he's chasing the forward from the halfway line? Doesn't get there. But live
Stephen
on
Ward,
TV,
isn't it?
or was it Burnley away? It was one of the. It was either Preston or Burnley. I'm sure.
He was on loan,
TV.
wasn't he?
He was.
On
he played as part of a back three under Big Joe.
Yes. So the other two would have been DeVos and Richard
Naylor. Yeah.
And then you've got left side, I suppose, of midfield was Matt Richards, wing back, I guess. Would have been a wing back. Other side is Fabian Vilnes, the legend, been on the show.
Matt Richards, great, not great because obviously it was against us. But I mean, if you want a good assist, just go and watch the Luke Chadwick goal. I mean, it's a quality assist from Matt Richards. He brings the ball down and cushions it perfectly in the path of Luke Chadwick.
Yeah,
but
I should point out Jason DeVos has been on this show as well. If you're new to the show, we've had people on here. We've had people.
That was the Silver Whiskey game, wasn't it? When Matt Richards sort of cushioned it for Luke Chadwick.
We could do with him now. We could do with our 2025 version of him now. And you're the guy you liked, Indoor. We could do those two in the middle of the park.
They would have been a Rolls Royce in midfield, those two.
Rebooted kind versions. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then in the middle of the park, could do these two right now. Jim Magilton and Tommy Miller.
It's not a bad two, is it?
Add into the mix Ian Westlake. Stamina for days.
Joe Westy was a funny one, because obviously he went to Leeds after us and then didn't really. Is it fair to say didn't really have go? Other than
he ended up going to like Needham Market, I think. After that, he had
was
quite
it
a long
injury? Do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
I remember.
He had quite a long non-league career. Do you remember he raced Karen Pickering at swimming live on Sky Sports News? Did you ever see that? He beat her. Yeah. Shows you how good an all-round sports person he was. And then up top, Darren Bent, Shefki Gucci. Imagine big Shefki in this side. We've got now. And Benty, quite frankly. I'd actually bring this side in. Could we bring this side in? Can we reboot them in 2025?
I think even now, Miller would probably hit the box more times than our midfield too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's be honest. Let's be fair.
The sub bench was one of your favourites, Darren Curry, set pieces.
Also on this show?
Yes. Scully. But he's been on the show. Is he, Scully? Wonder why.
Oh, was this in the James Goldcroft loan period then?
Yeah, it must be. Yeah,
where we took him.
Leicester?
Yeah, from Leicester. Yeah, from Leicester.
Oh, he might be at Palace. Or was he at Palace at this point?
No, it was Leicester because Leicester came to town. They didn't injure him, but Cucci got injured in that game. And then Scully was like there 4 or 5 days later.
And talking of Needham Market, one of their former managers, Kevin Horlock.
Also.
Yeah. There you go. 6-0. I think Forest go down to League One that season.
Could well be. Yeah.
Paul Gerrard in goal. Was he with us? Paul Gerrard.
Yes. On his debut, he handled it outside the box.
Great memory, mate. Generally, your memory is terrible. We've tapped into something here. Chris Commons was in that side. He was a good player. Scott Doby, Wes Morgan. Wes Morgan, who goes on to win the Premier League with
Leicester. Great defender, really good defender.
So, and Neil Harris, who obviously was linked with our job, wasn't he, before Kieran got it, and then went off to
manager,
Cambridge, back at Cambridge again. That was awkward, wasn't it? Left them to go to Millwall and gone back to Cambridge again. There we go. So 6-0. What a memory.
What a wet memory. I don't remember the game that much, but yeah, what a memory. Yeah, we were good back then. But it won't probably be 6-0 to Town this weekend, but we are obviously at home, 3 p.m, hence the blue background, because it's a home game against Nottingham Forest. High flying, Champions League chasing. This is the third time we're going to be playing Nottingham Forest. Both of the other games have ended in draw. No, the first one was a defeat, wasn't it? Actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, it was a penalty, wasn't it? 1-0 at the City Ground. No, end of November, I think it was. We played very well in that game. First half, anyway.
Played very well. Yeah,
maybe not the second.
Seeing the second, as the other teams come round now, Nottingham Forest, etc. It's really quite, sobering, for a better word, to see where we were to how we feel now. Because after that display, we lost 1-0, but it was very almost positive. We played well. We competed. We could have gone on to win the game, or at least draw the game. And I just feel like there's been so many of those type of games, Matt, that we're kind of sick of it now. Like if I said to you in my crystal ball, I see us playing well for 70 minutes this Saturday, but losing 1-0 or losing 2-1, would you be surprised at this point?
No, I would not be surprised. I think Nottingham Forest have got the most clean sheets in the division this season. 12, I think. 12.
They're a really good side. They're a really good
defensively very good, aren't they? I mean, as soon as they scored that goal at the City Ground against us, the Chris Wood pen, we kind of got suffocated out of the game because we played very well in that first half, and Burgess came very close, didn't he, to scoring in that game? He hit the bar, who had one cleared off the line. It came very close. One flash wide. He came very close. But yeah, and they kind of just done a number on us defensively, didn't they? But again, there is that little bit of glimmer of hope there. I think we've played well against them in 2 games, certainly in the cup game as well, over 2 hours.
As Colin says, I only see 2 goals to Forest in 210 minutes, and one was a penalty. Yeah, and we've scored 1. Still 4-0 wrong side of it, though, don't we?
Yeah.
Where are you? You can't be confident heading into this game. I mean, I know Colin saying he's not giving up mathematically, but looking at the league table, looking at the run of form, the bottom of the form guide.
Yeah.
I often start the conversation about how you're feeling heading in, but it feels like a redundant question these days because surely you're feeling hopeful, but not positive. No,
well, I mean, if we go back to the top of the year when we kind of listed out where we thought Ipswich might be able to pick up a home win, much to your surprise, even then, I had Forest as maybe being one that we could get something out of. Of course, they've thrown in some bizarre performances themselves this season. They get done 5 at Bournemouth. I mean, who could see that coming? And then a week later, they beat Brighton by 7. And this was a Brighton team that comfortably beat us 2-0. So, I mean, you just never know in the Premier League, do you? But it's going to be really difficult. You take in their kind of defensive prowess. Ipswich don't average a goal a game. I think it's going to be tricky unless we can start, as we said earlier, converting some of these chances that we're obviously creating in front of in the box. But we haven't seen it across 27, 28 games yet, have we? I don't see how we're going to see it in the last 10, 11.
That is the only thing that's going to save us because we're creating chances. The XG tell you that and in different things. It's the conversion. If we can hit a sweet patch of form in the conversion and actually start taking our chances, there's no reason why you can't claw yourself out of this.
It's happened before. Leicester did it when the season before they win the Premier League, as mentioned in the comments here previously. Won 7-9. No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming.
No, but that's more of a hopeful thought than it is a
it is really
one, And as Rob says, Jason Cundy said on TalkSport about Ipswich's game. Ipswich done okay, competitive in the match, but lost and repeat week after week, which kind of feels like what it is, Also, we'll be allergic to set pieces again this week. That's probably a guarantee. But
exactly.
So let's do the team. I mean, who's fit? Because obviously Sammy Smolix has had an operation, so you won't see him
now, hasn't he?
Again this season. Disappointing, because I really like Sammy. I think he's shown some. I mean, second top goal scorer still, which for a player that hasn't played since Fulham.
Properly. Because he don't finish the Coventry game, does he? He got injured in that Fulham game. Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah.
So 4 goals, and he's still, he's not played since January.
All away from home as well. Bit of a mad stat, isn't it? Yeah, that's a shame, that, isn't it? I mean, he comes in with such high hopes, scores 30 plus all competitions last season. That's the one silver lining, I suppose. He can get back to being fit. Hopefully, we'll get that Smodix that scores that amount of goals in the Championship for us next season. Well, he still wants a home goal, doesn't he? Still wants to score Pullman Road for one thing.
Well, he's done it enough times against us. I'd like to see him do it for us. It would be nice. But whether he plays in the middle next year or not, obviously that remains to be seen. Whether McKenna fancies that, whether obviously McKenna might not be here, whether a new manager fancies playing, Sammy down the middle. We haven't seen that yet.
No, you haven't. I mean, I did look at you have to do a bit of a deep dive on some of these things really to get the truer picture. And I think McKenna has been playing him in the position he did play at Blackburn. He's just so good at running centrally. He does start on the left side of a striker, and he just cuts into the box. So he's scoring the majority of his goals from central positions. But of course, that's easier said than done, as we've now found out in the Premier League, isn't it? But I mean, look, hopefully him and Wes coming back next season into maybe the Football League will feel like 2 new signings, and then add Ogbeni into the mix as well. They'll feel like 3 new players for us, I suppose. But it has been disappointing. Yeah, I mean, he was a bit of a dice roll, I suppose. What is Smodix? 29, coming on 30. So he gets his chance at the Premier League a little bit late. Scores 4 goals. I thought maybe he would have got a little bit more than that, maybe. But I mean, look, he scored a great overhead kick at Tottenham. I mean, if he never kicks a ball in the Premier League again, he'd be happy with that as a memory, wouldn't you? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just disappointed to see him not. But who is fit? That as we go through the team, we'll try our best to try and obviously not heard the press conference, not happened yet. So we'll see.
Who knows?
This is it. So Alex Palmer will be in goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now McKenna's going to make about 9 changes. That's standard.
Yeah.
Right.
We know that.
So are you going back 3, back 4, back 10? What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to play O'Shea at the right back role because I actually thought he played pretty well in that position against Palace. Did he play in that role against Chelsea when we beat them 2-0? I mean, there's another game. We're going into this Forest game not feeling particularly confident. I don't think anyone was confident going into that Chelsea game. Yeah, we still managed to pull that one out of the fire, didn't we? But yes, I'd go O'Shea. I think Wolfie keeps his position in the middle as well, with Greaves to his left. I'm going to keep Greaves in there, and Leaf's got to play. Leaf's got to play. I know a lot of people have been saying Connor Townsend, but if we're talking about chance creation, which we did if you watch Sunday's show, we did a bit of a deep dive on some of them stats. Leaf is well and truly out in front, so he doesn't play. I dread to think where we're going to. I think the majority of these shots that we're having and shots on target that we're getting are pretty much coming from down the left-hand side, and Leaf is obviously instrumental to that. Again, that creates a question mark of if we go back to the Football League and Leaf moves on, who's going to fill that void? That is a huge gap to fill for next season, but we'll wait. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But certainly Saturday, I'd have those. That'd be my 4 in defence, I think. What about you?
Those 4 plus Ben Johnson for me. Ben Johnson has played really well in the last couple of weeks. He's looked threatening when he's come on.
Yes.
He's almost at the end of one last weekend. He's looked a player that's really progressing well at the moment and coming into a bit of form. And we're not having any of our traditional attacking players like your Hutchinsons, your Philogines, your Clarks hit a runner form. That's what I'd call more traditional attacking players, as opposed to a right wing back who you're asking to occasionally play at right midfield. So, because people will say to me, "Oh, Martin, we've got to go 4-2-3-1. We've got to get more players forward. We've got to get, but they're not in form. They're not cutting it. So you can get 10 players behind the lap. If none of them are in form, it makes it redundant. So Ben Johnson, who's done well last couple of weeks, looked dangerous. Give, like Wolfie, reward it. Give him a shout. Give him the nod. Go to a back three is what I would do with O'Shea, Wolfie, and Greaves. Davis at left wing back, Johnson at right wing back. Now my midfield two might surprise you because you've won me over.
I thought you might be saying this. Yeah.
On Sunday's show,
Calvin got the elbow. Calvin got the elbow.
What is it I always say? Facts don't care about your feelings, right?
No.
You gave me the facts.
Yeah.
My feelings don't matter. So he's going to have to be the man in the middle who's obviously our skipper, you tell me some tremendous facts.
Yeah.
And Jens Karius. As much as I think Calvin Phillips is a better player than Sam Morsey, or can offer something different to Sam Morsey, whatever you may think, is the more truer statement there. The facts are the facts, the stats are the stats. So Sam Morsey, he starts for me. And he played well against Nottingham Forest. I know, slightly different team.
He did.
But again, reward players that are playing well. Albeit if they're 1 game, 2 games, whatever, reward them at this point of the season. Let's get players actually playing well, as opposed to price tags, reputations, whatever.
Yeah. Let's not forget Morsey used to also play in the league game that we lose 1-0 at the City Ground. And as we said earlier, he played very well in the first half.
Yeah.
So, I think it makes the most sense. And that's the midfield duo that's won us the most points this season. I get everyone likes Kuste and Phillips, but
I do.
2 points max as that midfield duo won us this season.
Chance creation, though, isn't it?
It's not all down to them, is it? But it's there's 0 chance creation out of those two. That's the issue. And for Sam's limitations, we're talking about, being able to go box to box, or maybe he's got stamina issues as he gets older. There's no denying that he's created 15 chances this season. And when the 3 behind the lap aren't firing, then it falls back to your midfield, doesn't it? And Morsey does bring that. Yeah. So
as much as I think Kojustovic are a better two together and individually are probably better players, facts are facts, stats are stats, and they speak for themselves. So and again, reward players that have played well in recent games.
He's played well Morsey's played well in both Nottingham Forest games, so it makes sense to give him back the armband. So what are you doing with it? Are you going 3 behind the lap then? Well, you've added another win back, haven't you? Yeah.
2, I'm going to Inciso being one of them.
Nailed on.
Get the magician in. Let's see if we can, the fitter he gets here, the more magic we can produce from him. And then for the very reasons why I've chosen Ben Johnson, right now you could list me every single Town player who could play in that position, and you could literally just chuck them at a dartboard, because like you could say Jack Clark, you could say Jaden Philogene, Amari Hutchinson, but all of them aren't in form. They're not producing at this moment in time. So you could start any one of them in reality. It doesn't, as a point of an argument, it doesn't really matter, because I can't say, if you said to me Jack Clark and I wanted Jaden Philogene, I can't argue the reasons for, because there aren't really any reasons for. You know what I mean?
You have a number 10 in his on a rotation, and effectively could be anybody. Pick a name from a hat.
Who turns up first Playford Road? Who brings the coffees? Who brings brings the halftime refreshments?
You'll start the game.
Pull straws, whatever. Really, but it feels that. Am I wrong in saying that? It feels that really that it could be in that manner, because nobody's grabbing it at the moment in time.
This also gives us insight how you used to pick your team when you was a Sunday League manager, Martin. Well, I've gone for a 3 behind the lap, so I've got Inciso obviously as well, and I'm going to go Amari because he looked kind of bright when he came on against Palace. What I didn't like about Clark and Philogene was the fact that they sort of didn't have any presence in those attacking roles. So that's the reason I would give Amari. He's on the pitch, he's causing problems, he's got the pace. Hopefully, he can get in behind that Forest defence. So I'd go with Amari. Yeah, and I would agree with you on the left-hand side. It could be it could be one of Clark. It could be Broadhead. I would like to see Philogene over there. I mean, I had a little look to see Philigine's done double the amount of games he's done on the left wing as he has on the right wing. I mean, probably for Hull and Cardiff City, I think was one of his other loans. I think that's probably where the majority of those positions came from. I still feel like he's like a fish out of water on the right-hand side, as our friend from Hull said, the Hull pod, Joe. He said, well, he's a left-sided player. But for whatever reason, Ipswich have started playing him right-sided, and Villa did as well in the short amount of space that he had back at Villa Park. But they saw the best of him on the left-hand side. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That said, I was critical of Clark against Palace, yet even though I didn't think he played particularly well, he actually still set up 3 chances. On another day, the ball to Enciso could have been a goal. So I'm inclined to sort of maybe start Clark, because I don't really like Philogene on the right-hand side. That's my kind of take. I would love to know why Kieran plays him on that side, given all of the kind of glowing feedback on him from his Football League days are that he's a left-sided player.
I think whomever it is, as we said in previous weeks, there's a great opportunity to come in, lay down a marker, stake a claim for the place, grab the shirt and don't let go. All of those footballing cliches that you want to throw out there, but it generally is, because it could be any one of them. So it's a great opportunity for whoever gets the nod or comes off the bench to really lay down the gauntlet, because there's a number of games left. You might not, football's a very short career. You might not get the chance to be a Premier League player ever again, right? So come and grab the opportunity. The stage is waiting. The lights are on. Let's see who can live up to that sort of pressure. It is pressure playing in the Premier League. There's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of talk, and you're in a relegation threatened team. So let's see who can sort of rise to that occasion. I'm looking forward to seeing one person emerge. I think somebody will. I feel it that somebody will emerge. Who that might be, I don't know. Jack Clark, maybe. After sort of threatening a little bit, Fulham hitting the post, etc. Could it all fall into place for him? Amari has shown real, tantalising moments through the season. Hasn't quite put it together in a body of work across several games. Could that flip on its head and this be the moment Amari puts it together across an 8-game stretch and Town suddenly are knocking on the door? Who knows? It's up to them. We're podcasters. We're donuts, as we're called. We can talk for England, but it ain't down to us. It's down to them. Yeah. It's down to them. Yeah.
I mean, you're exactly right. That kind of made me chuckle a little bit when Kieran said on the post-match press conference after Palace, he said, "Oh, they're very young in their Premier League careers." I was thinking exactly what you just said there. Some of them might not never get here again. You just don't know what's around the corner, do you? I hope
all of them get back here, but it was a very short career.
Next season, hopefully. yeah.
I mean, Connor Wickham, for example, burst onto the scene, big thing. I don't think he scored double digits for any other club but us. I don't think. And football's a very short.
Last seen on trial with Watford reserves, I think.
Obviously, because injuries, form, managerial changes. It's so many different factors in football that sometimes your talent it can't be fulfilled because of whatever situation you might find yourself in.
Really great. It's a great point. I mean, I thought looking at Connor Wickham back in the day, he would be like a kind of Delap style character we're seeing now, probably speaking about England squads.
And without injuries, he may well have been.
Yeah. I mean, what did he leave us for? 9 mil?
Yeah, Steve Bruce signed him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for Sunderland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shame. I remember seeing him for England under 16s at Lincoln City on a Friday night against Scotland, I think it was, and everyone was like, "Who's this kid?" I was like, "Bloody hell, it's Connor Wickham." It's Connor Wickham from Ipswich. It was like the first time I'd ever seen him play a game. You knew the name, but didn't know who he was, and it just felt like the world was his oyster back then. But like you rightly say, just football, funny career.
This is it. So let's see who steps up to it. I would probably agree with you in terms of Jack Clark. That's where I would probably edge in my team with Enciso next to him. But it could be anybody. It's just the stage is waiting for him. Let's see if we can hit a little bit of magic, a little bit of form at the right time. Start scoring those chances that we're creating. If we weren't creating chances, I'd be a lot more concerned. It's that that's a real positive that we're creating chances. That's because normally you can't create them. That's the big issue.
But the stats are showing that we do.
Yeah,
which goes back to your original point. on last week or wherever it was, you can almost taste, you can almost
Yes.
feel the staying in the Premier League, but it's just not just out of grasp, isn't it? Just out of reach.
But it also tells you, you know, I'm no statistician, but I'd average a guess that they would probably tell me that those stats can't continue. Like those stats you can't be statistically so bad at converting across 38 games. At some point, you've got to have a patch where you finish the chances you create in the very similar way. If you've got a team that's over converting compared to their chance creation, that also surely can't continue. Where every time you hit it, it goes in. Like eventually, you've got to cool off in terms of finishing, but equally you've got to get hot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm no statistician, but I'm sure that's got to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Bournemouth found chances against Forest at Dean Court because they beat them 5-0, didn't they? So for all the talk of them having the best clean sheet record in the league, obviously that particular day, Bournemouth found some success. I think Ipswich we've got to create the furnace of an atmosphere again, which we've pretty much done all season, other than, you know, when we've had the disappointments like Southampton and stuff, and the stadium goes quiet. But yeah, it always comes down to that early goal. We say to the champ, can we get in front? Can we get our noses in front? We say that in League One, we say in the Championship. And then suddenly the Ipswich fans will become that 12th man. But it's been very difficult, hasn't it, in the Premier League? But who knows? Who knows what Saturday will bring? Exactly.
It's also very difficult well, difficult for me anyway, being as I'm not a Premier League manager, but difficult to game plan of how you best get after Nottingham Forest, because they're more of a team this year that want you to be on the front foot, because they will hit you on the transition. Their transition is quick. Their counter is incredible. That's where they do their damage. Being the home team, you want to take the game. You want to take the game to them, but then that plays right into their hands. So it'd be interesting to see how he sets up McKenna, in the sense of, are we allowing them to come out of their comfort zone and be the aggressor, and see if they can press the issue a little bit, and we can do to them what they've done to some of the other football clubs? Or do we go, okay, right, that's how you want to play, but we're going to take it to anyway and see? Because it wouldn't be wise, it feels like, at this point of the season, to do that. But we got
on the front foot in the league game at Forest, didn't we? Like we say, that first half was decent. And then on the other side of that coin, we were quite happy to give Chelsea the ball and counter them. And obviously the Delap pen and the Hutchinson goal gave us the 2-0 win. So, I mean, look, we could fall between two things there, I think. Part of me probably thinks Kieran will just go to type as what he's done this season and think, we've got to win the game. Let's just try and get on the front foot and get our noses in front.
Which would also, you know, as I say, yeah, it's perhaps the right thing to do. It's the bold thing to do, but it does also play right into the game plan. Of,
Chris Wood.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking about set pieces on Sunday. I'm sure it'll be for the exact same reasons we talk about him every single week.
Another of your bugbears will be, why wasn't Chris Wood when he was on loan with Town?
Well, he was coming back from an injury back then, you know. But yes, where was this?
Birmingham, wasn't he? I think he'd done like 10 appearances. I don't think those all starts, were they? 10 appearances. But I don't think he scored. But that must be a good 10 years ago. Plus, I would have thought.
I just want to know why we're allergic to set pieces. That's all I want to know. Like, we can't, you know, they've been defending them recently.
A meagre tally, they said on Peacock. A meagre tally of 5, and Palace had scored 13, so almost 3 times as many, which probably explains why they're mid-table and we're not.
Yeah. Well, in the games you're having, that's what makes it even more for me. I know you've been saying that you have been banging the drum about chances and not taking them earlier in the season and how we can't score goals. And you're right, you were. This is the reason why I've been banging the drum about set pieces since what feels like October. Because in games like last week and other weeks where it's really tight, and you perhaps haven't got necessary open play quality. Yeah, these are the real. And I know it's a bugbear of fans now to hear this saying, that's a real fine margin. That's a difference. Like Man United, 2 set piece goals against that. These are the differences between a point or 3 or none, and it's really hurting you when you can't score from open play as consistently as you want to.
Well, we scored the set piece goal in the cup game at Forest, didn't we? And then we conceded one, didn't we, with Hurst tackle on the right hand side of the box, and he crossed it in for the 1-1, didn't he? So, it's all the highs and lows of our set pieces there. Yeah,
and that's one of the 5. So before then, it would have been it would have been 4, and that was mid-February.
Yeah,
really poor.
It's really poor. Yeah, I agree.
You've got to look at that in the summer, regardless of what division you're in. You've got to look at where that's gone wrong, how you remedy it, and whatever that may look like.
And then aligned to that is the fact that I think there was another stat on the BBC website over the weekend that said we were down near the bottom for impactful subs, which of course was such a huge thing for us in the Championship and the promotion run, wasn't it? So we're not scoring from set pieces, and our subs aren't really making any aren't turning 1 point into 3 or rescuing us a point or whatever it might be. So yeah, both those two things have been a killer for us this season. Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think that speaks into what we were saying just a second ago about it could be anybody at left wing.
Yeah.
You know, and that really speaks into it because you've got no impact from the bench because no one's in form, be it starter or from the bench in those impact areas. But you've got to think it can't continue forever. That's the only glimmer of hope, that you're creating chances, and you've got to hope that at some point your conversion gets hot and away you go. And who knows?
Let's hope it's Saturday, then, Martin.
I'm trying to talk it up here, but let's do score predictions as we finish the show. Don't forget we are partnered with Stomach Osteopaths. Give Freddie a call, 01449613633. Don't live life in pain. Freddie is the governor at Stomach Osteopaths. Give him a call. Tell him I sent you. 01449613633. Score predictions, please.
I'm gonna go. This is not one I've actually said too often this season. I actually think we will get something out of the game. I'm not sure we're going to win the game, but I think we might get something out of the game. It probably won't be enough, but I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. Well, Wolves are playing Southampton, I want to say.
I think it is them, isn't it, this week?
I want to say they're playing Southampton. So you've got to think Wolves are probably going to win, unless Southampton want to do us a favour, as a way of saying thank you for the points we've given them, being, 45% of their points.
It would only be polite, wouldn't it? It would only be polite that they did that.
It would be. Did you see Russell Martin on Monday Night Football, by the way?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what's really bad? Because I watched it, and do you know what's really bad? Is I actually came away quite liking him.
He's a good guy, Russell. I keep saying this to people. He's all right.
I actually came away quite liking him. I thought to myself,
he actually made a very
say no in the summer if that was an option.
Oh, right. I thought I was in a very small minority of having Russell Martin as an Ipswich manager. Welcome in. He made a very good point on that Monday Night Football, didn't he? That he said one of his toughest jobs was actually trying to convince the Southampton squad they were worthy of being Premier League players. And then did make me wonder whether or not Kieran behind closed doors has also had that issue with some of our squad as well. It was very interesting that he would. I mean, he's got the luxury of saying that now because he's no longer employed by Southampton. But it was interesting that he should say that because they were that run they went on. What was it? 25, 26 games, 100-year-old record beaten, club record beaten of going unbeaten. They were phenomenal, really. I mean, any other season they'd have finished probably top 2, really.
Definitely,
so it was interesting that confidence was lacking. But you never know what's going on behind closed doors at a club. Most certainly.
And I just listened to it, and he came across very, very well. Very well spoken.
I think Trevor's making. I think Trevor's making a good point there. It does feel like Russell Martin could end up going to Norwich.
They'll stick with the current manager at Norwich.
Johannes.
With the transition, yeah. I think they'll give him that feels like a mid-October, early November change next year when it doesn't start well. Because I think this year they're looking at. I don't know. I'm not obviously a Norwich City fan. I'm not a Norwich City director, but I imagine they're looking at it as a transition year from an aging squad, which was last year, made the playoffs, but it was an aging squad, to a younger squad. And I think they have gone really young with their recruitment. So I think they'll be looking at it as a multi-year process.
They've got that lad in from Man City, haven't they? Wright, I think his name is. Teenage kid. They think it's great things of playing for him. Certainly, you'll think that there'll be even and like we said at the top of the show, Colin thinks they're like one of the worst Norwich sides he's seen in decades. You got to think that Borja Sands, is he still Championship top scorer? Think he'll probably move on. That Josh Sargent didn't play last night. Got to think he'll probably move on. I wouldn't have thought he's played in the Bundesliga previously. Wouldn't have thought he'd want to stay in the Championship.
I wonder if Daniel Farke might go back in for him at Leeds if they get promoted. That's a good point. There's that connection.
How long he stays at Leeds for? We'll have to wait and see. But there's a connection there. It's great. Yeah.
But there's that connection. Premier League obviously seems to be calling Leeds at the moment. There is that possibility, but you're right. You've got the continent as well. It just feels like that's the sort of thing you hear about in like November next year when they've started poorly and they're realizing they probably should have done it in the summer. but so they're going to do it now and try and rescue a season. To me, I think after last night, Norwich fans will be saying, "Yeah, he's got to go." But I think that's the emotion of last. I'm not a Norwich fan, so I can't really speak for it.
It's not like Russell Martin, if he went in there, would have millions to spend either, because they ain't got parachute payments either. So I mean, they're pretty much in the position we found ourselves in before we ended up going down into League One, unless the Milwaukee baseball team ownership that seems to have some kind of stake in Norwich now decided to put a few more million in, like Game Changer did to us. But they
own it out right now, don't they? Because I think
I think so. Whether it is, did they buy all the shares from her? Yeah,
I think it was like last week or whenever it was. But
it seems to me they've got the financial capacity there. The Milwaukee, I mean, we know Martin with American Sports, Milwaukee Brewers are huge. So I mean, why they've not put some more money into Norwich, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they don't. Keeps them for us.
I think if they're watching, they should put exactly 0 pence in it. To be honest with you, I think it's just wind it up.
Yeah, why not?
Call it a day. Call it a day. As you said on one of our very first shows, have the Mr. Clutch Cup and call it a day.
Get Mike Bassett back. And
play 4-4-2 with Benson and Hedges up front. Why not? All right, you've gone 1-1. I will go. Oh God, 2-1 Town.
Love it. Optimistic. You've been chatting to Colin for too long. Good though. Let's hope that's correct. I don't
know if I actually believe what I've just said, but I'm going to give it a good go and try.
Only one more goal than what I've said, so it's doable.
Speak it into the universe, as they say. But all right, there we go. We're done. We've covered all sorts on tonight's show. Nottingham Forest, call-ups, injuries, sadly, and of course,
we've gone back in time. We've done a Talking Town time machine. We've sorted out Russell Martin's new career,
and we've covered our feathered friends down the road.
Rare appearance for them on Talking Town. Yeah,
rare, very rare. Yeah, you know the Premier League's giving you nothing to talk about when Norwich feature for about 15 minutes.
Not forgetting pie and mash. Not forgetting the pie and mash
and jelly deals.
Yeah. Get it all here on Talking Town, everybody.
Tommy Kay, the legend that is, our resident Norwich fan that thinks he's a Nottingham Forest fan.
Yeah.
He's in the chat. Tommy, we love you. Good luck for the weekend. It's just not too much luck. Just give us 3 points, please, Tommy. Please. Just please.
It's asking too much, is it? They are third.
I think so. Yeah. We really need the points, Tommy, so please.
I'm
about to plead with him. Tommy, please.
We gave too many to Southampton. We were far too charitable.
Yeah. Absolutely. We can talk about a Delap transfer fee as afterwards if you like. But
a Chris Wood replacement. He's getting on a bit.
You could rotate the two, couldn't you? One week Chris Wood, the next week Delap, vice versa.
Well, I did.
You have a real mate. Actually, that's probably not a bad little shout there if they qualify for the Champions League.
Look at us putting the world to rights. What teams should be doing for next season? Got it all sorted out here.
I'm in no way connected with Nottingham Forest, but if I was, I'd be picking up the blower and saying, I've got a great idea.
Yeah. We've got some Champions League money to spend here.
Get the checkbook out because I've got a fantastic idea. All right, but yes, Tommy, all the best. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, share to your friends, share to your family. And if you didn't like it, share it to your friends and family or those that you don't know. Just as a way of pissing them off, really. Let's be honest. If you don't like it and you don't like somebody else, just send it their way. And hope they don't like it as well. Either way, it all helps us. But we'll back after the Nottingham Forest game for our match reaction. But until then, he's off to watch Real Madrid. I'm thinking, can I just draw this out for another 10 minutes just to do it so you miss the kickoff? But I'm not going to be that mean. So have a great evening. Oh, sorry. You're right. Oh, bless. Oh, well, it's only what, your 8th favourite team? I don't think,
As I said earlier, Madrid Derby, Champions League.
I didn't know Derby were in the Champions League.
Derby County. Let's go now.
See, now he wants to leave. Now he wants to leave. Right, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.